Have you ever been lost before in a strange place, trying to figure out which way to go? And how did it make you feel? You lose thought of everything else that's going on around you at the time because you're busy trying to figure out which way to go. That's kind of how I've been left in life, trying to figure out which way to go, seriously. Because when I started studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses, I just knew that I had the truth. They came to me with the Bible and the scriptures and all of the good talk. And it was things that I had never heard before in church. And the Bible had the scriptures right there in it, but I've never heard of it, those scriptures, until I started studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses. All of the, what we called God's promises in the Bible. So I stayed in that religion from 1985. It was a struggle for me to get baptized, but I finally made it and got baptized in 2009. I had been warned that it was a cult when I first started studying. And I told the lady, no, it's not. It's not a cult. It's just Satan trying to take people away from Jehovah. You know, it's not a cult. And she said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. It's not a cult. And anyway, I kept, studying and studying for years and years, stop and start, until I finally got baptized. So I stayed in the religion from baptized in 2009, and I came out in 2016, and I disassociated in 2017. And it took me that long to disassociate because when I saw the ARC on YouTube, I was talking to the elders after I saw that, and I was trying to find my way back to the Kingdom Hall. I wanted it to be the truth so bad, but it wasn't. So I talked to them several times. Two of the cool elders, they were younger guys, and we were, cool and everything, and they were real smart too, smart, like common sense wise. But they could never come up with any answers as to why the governing body members would say that they're not inspired. And so once I saw that that was just a lie and it was a cult, it jarred me for a while. And then I just had to figure out, okay, this religion is no different from any other religions. So I came out of it. And I'm glad that I saw that it was a lie. I'm glad I found that out, because I would still be in it. I would still be thinking everything is Satan. Satan this and Satan that. Satan did it. Everything was Satan. And but before I actually came out of the religion, I had told a couple of the sisters, because I had been in it for some years then. I had been baptized for some years then. And I think like around 2013 or so, I started feeling like it was something wrong. Nobody told me nothing. Nobody said anything. It was just my own thoughts, because when I would go to the Kingdom Hall, I would come out feeling worse than I did when I went in the Kingdom Hall, because it was always, have you done your part? Have you done your share in Jehovah's work, in the field service and all that? And it was like I started feeling like I was in a prison with a chain around the prison. So I started telling a couple of the sisters, there's something wrong with this somewhere. And then when I would go home, I would sit down and be thinking about it, and I would always tell myself, it's something wrong with this somewhere. I just cannot put my finger on it. So fast forward a few years later, say 4 or 5 years later, probably about 5 years later, was when I saw the ARC. And then everything came together like a million-piece jigsaw puzzle. And it was like I knew something was wrong with this, but I never thought it was that. I never thought it was a false religion, a big lie that I had been taught, that we were the only true religion. I kind of did believe it was the only true religion, but I never thought that everyone else would be destroyed besides Jehovah's Witnesses, because I knew that everybody thought that their religion was the truth. So when I came out of that religion, I started looking at life differently, because I'm like, how could I be in a cult for all those years and not know it? And how did I believe that it was the truth and it was a cult? And then I told myself, I know how I believe that, because they came to me with the Bible. And I thought everything in the Bible was the truth. So there was no way that no one could have ever told me that I was in a cult. It's amazing the things that we can listen to and follow because it looked like it's right, or it tells you something that you want to hear, or something that you need to hear to make yourself feel like life is worth living, or it's going to be better later. It's going to get back to a paradise earth like it was originally meant to be. It's easy to fall into that without even thinking about it, really, because I never thought about it again once they came and showed me the scriptures. And I'm like, I didn't know this was in the Bible. I've been going to church all my life. The preacher never talked about what was going to happen after this. They just always talked about going to heaven or going to hell if you don't, live right. So I've always been a spiritual minded person. I always wanted to be a good person, and I always wanted to please the Creator. But now I'm confused on who the Creator is. I mean, I don't know what's really going on. I can go from the Bible to life, because it all comes back to the Bible and what we've been taught. So some people don't believe in the Bible. Some people don't believe in God. I can't knock them, because I can understand why they don't. But I believe in the Creator. I believe there's a Creator, because we are here. We're here. And you look around and you see all of the trees and the animals and all that. But that's not good enough for me anymore. Yeah, we were created and put here, but what is the nature of the Creator that created us and put us here, if that's what happened? Some people don't think that it was a Creator. They go by science. Well, to me, I feel like it had to be a being that did this, because we have a brain all the way down to our feet. We have everything that functions, and we eat, taste, see, hear, and smell, and all these things. And I just feel like there had to be a being that did this. But my next question is, why did they do this? My question is rather, why? Just why did they do it? If we were not going to be put here to be happy and be able to live forever with our loved ones and friends, what was the point? What was the purpose of it all? I don't understand it. I really don't. We're here. We come to love people, our children, our loved ones, and then no one knows when the last time will be that you see that loved one. And then that's a whole nother part of life that you have to experience. And I'm not going to go off into that right now, but that's a whole nother different level that you have to experience. And it's not nice. It's horrible. So anyway, I'm going to go back to the Bible about some of the things that I studied in the Bible about the faithful people in the Bible, like Job and Abraham. The thing about it is the Job story with me. I have never understood that. When I was in the Kingdom Hall, I understood it, because I thought that, he was faithful. Well, I can, if something, happens in my life, I'm going to be like Job. I'm just not going to waver. I'm going to be like Job no matter what happens. But I always thought, how could you replace children? You can't replace children. So I always thought about that part of it, but I always wanted to be faithful, like Job was. So now that I'm out of the religion, and I sit down and I look at all these different things that I studied in the Bible, and I look at them and I say, so is that what's going on with us here? Are we being yo-yoed and used for Ponzi's too in a bet? A bet about how many people will take your side and how many people will take my side? Is that what this is? Because that's not anything that I would call love. How are you doing? That's not love to me. That's being used as a Ponzi. That's like making a deal. So how, if there is someone that created us and put us here, how is it that they could love us and do this to us? Because I don't care how you slice it. It comes down to making a deal, a bet rather, if that's what this is going on. That Satan thought he could pull everybody away from God, and God said, well, I'm going to give you a chance, and you'll see that everybody will not leave me to follow you. You can put that however you want to put it. To me, it boils down to making a deal. A bet, rather. I keep saying a deal. I mean a bet. To me, human life is nothing to make a bet on. There's nothing to make a bet on. It's way too serious for that. People have feelings. They have emotions. So to put someone in a predicament like this and then make a bet with your adversary that everyone won't leave me for you, I think that's pretty cruel. I really do. I'm not atheist, but I do have a lot of thoughts in common with atheists. The only reason why I'm not an atheist is because I feel like someone did create us and put us here. That's as far as I can go with that now. I used to do a lot of praying and a lot of thinking, God, this Jehovah. I don't think like that anymore. I just don't. I think that if there were a loving creator that put us here, we wouldn't have to be going through all of the trauma that we go through. We wouldn't have to be going through that, because that's not love. So I'll be thinking about scriptures in the Bible too, like the Bible said that God regretted that he had made man. I can see that. I can tell. If he had regretted it, he should have just terminated the whole creation. It would have been better than this. It would have been much better than this. Because I'm sitting at a garden right now, what most people know as a cemetery. I don't call it cemetery. That makes it sound so much worse. And when I come in here every Saturday or Sunday or whatever day of the week I can come. Well, usually on the weekend. But if I know that I can't come on the weekend, I make it here some kind of way. And when I come in here, I be seeing people standing around their loved ones' sites. And some of them be having a real longing look on their face. And I say that if they feel like I feel, they're desperate. See, when you lose a loved one, a child, mother, father, sibling, friend, whatever it is, but especially if you have a child and you lose that child, that's a whole nother level of grieving. Because I have grieved before, but I never knew this level of grief existed, period. I never knew that. So see, this made me realize even more so how cruel life really is. And you have people that'll say, oh, it's God's plan. He was ready for them to come home. God knows what's best and everything happens for a reason. I look at it like this. Why would he let you have a child, get attached and come to love your child like you're supposed to do, and then after so many years or months or weeks or however, whenever the child might pass away, all of a sudden he want them to come home? He could have just had them home in the first place and not let us birth them into the world. He could have just had them in heaven with him in the first place, if that's what it is, which I know better than that. I've always heard people say that, but I never believed that. Even before I became one of Jehovah's Witnesses, it was a lot of things that I never made sense to me, and I never believed it. Even as a Baptist, I never believed some things. As a matter of fact, most things that I hear Baptist people say, I don't believe in it stuff. But my point is, why have people here grieving their loved ones and longing and yearning for them, and they can't get them back? They're on the other side of the earth. I'm on this side of the earth, and my son is on the other side of the earth as I sit by his side right now. And you know, I get angry. That's what really made me decide that I was going to start making videos. I probably never would have started making them, but I see that so many people think and say the same thing that I be saying. And when I think about my son, it makes me angry, because certain things in life just don't even have to happen. They just don't. I mean, it's so many things in life that we have to go through that just don't even have to happen. So there's a lot of desperate people in this world. People are not just going to come up to people and start talking to them about that, because they don't want to bring anybody down, and make them start feeling depressed and all that. But you have no idea how many people are walking around grieving the loss of a child, or parents, grandparents, siblings. You have no idea how those people really feel inside. Because for one thing, you can't explain it. You can't express that feeling. You just can't. There's no words to describe it. So people just talk amongst who they talk amongst it with, and just keep it to themselves and just live with it, because there is absolutely no word to describe the grief of losing a kid. This life is it's not what I thought it was. It's just not. I look at it now like it wasn't meant for us to be here and be happy. It wasn't. Some people probably are happy because they live a carefree life. They don't care. As long as they do what they want, they have money, they can buy what they want, eat what they want, travel, stuff like that. Me, myself, I'm a more serious-minded person. I don't just think about fun all the time. I think about feelings and emotions and how people feel, and knowing the truth about life and the truth about things. And just, I try to be around good people. I don't like being around people that's crummy or ratchet. I don't have time for that. So my point is, when you take a serious look at life and it doesn't look like what you thought it was once upon a time, it takes you to a whole nother level of thoughts about life and this planet that we're living on here. It's probably just about as many people deceased in the world as there are people alive. And what is the purpose of all that? What's the purpose? That's all I want to know. I want to know why we were put here, who put us here. I believe in a creator, but I don't know who it is, and I don't know nothing about the nature of that creator, because I wouldn't have done this to nobody. Not me. I wouldn't have done it. So the Jehovah's Witnesses are waiting for the paradise to come. I hope it happens. But sometimes I think that a person that did this, a creator that did this right here, and are allowing us to go through all this horror and misery and pain and grieving, and the world has been like this since day one. It's kind of hard for me to see that being just flip everything over and make everything so grand and so beautiful and so great one day. I just don't see that. And as bad as I want my son back on this earth, I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. Something might happen. I hope something happens so that we all see our loved ones again. I really do. But I'm kind of skeptical about thinking that one day this earth is going to be a paradise earth where it will be no more death and all that stuff. I hope one day it won't be any more death after our loved ones all come back. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we all want our loved ones back. So it's just a whole lot to talk about this thing called life, whatever this is supposed to be, because I'm not comprehending pretty much nothing these days. And it's like the more time goes by, that's the less I understand, because I look at a lot of the things that I read in the Bible for years and years and years. I still don't see it. Pray for this and pray for that. I did that. And I must say that a couple of my major prayers were never answered. And I prayed it for some years. It was never answered. So I don't believe all that stuff I used to believe. All I can do is just hope that things get better one day in the future for everybody. And hope that we all be reunited with our loved ones again. Because without that hope, I would be an atheist. Because I wouldn't have nothing to hope for besides seeing my kid again and my loved ones and our loved ones. That's what makes me want to hold on to that belief. But deep down, I don't see all of this monstrous stuff turning into no paradise. Another thing that I think about since I left the Kingdom Hall, when Adam and Eve were placed in the Garden of Eden, God told them, do not touch the tree of knowledge, that they do not become to know good and bad. When you think about it, like one of the sisters told me that left right after I did, I don't call names, she said, "Sent." She said, when you think about it and start picking that shit apart, it don't make no sense, do it? She said, because if they were in a paradise earth and everything was supposed to be perfect, what was supposed to be bad for them to find out, to learn about? I didn't think nothing about that because I was still in the Kingdom Hall. No, I wasn't still in the Kingdom Hall. I had just come out of the Kingdom Hall. So I wasn't thinking it deep at the time. I really wasn't. And then when a long time after that, I started thinking about what she said. And I'm like, you know what? That is the truth, what she said. What was supposed to be bad in the first place for them to become knowing good and bad if they touched that tree? So that meant to me, my understanding that I get out of it is that it was already evil here on the earth before he created Adam and Eve. That's what it seems like to me when I think about it. So I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. But I know this ain't right. And a lot of people always try to make excuses. Well, he gave us free will. And we did this and we made it this. I didn't do nothing. You might have been in the Garden of Eden, but I wasn't there. So don't say we did it. Just if you was there, you might have been there. I wasn't there. We didn't do nothing. We had a free will. Now, Adam and Eve had a free will, supposedly. So don't put me in that because I wasn't in the Garden of Eden. I don't know what went on there. But I know that I look at a whole lot of things that's not making any sense anymore. Such as another thing is the flood. And this is my last topic that I'm going to talk about. How do you flood a whole earth full of people? Because everything that you saw in their heart was bad all the time. And then as time goes on, here we are. The earth is right back like it was before the flood. So I want to know, what was the purpose of the flood? Drowning all those people and animals and everything. Yeah, it's just like people say, God can do what he want to do. It's his earth. He created it. He can do what he want to do. Yeah, we know that. But should you do things like that just because you can? Or if it was me, I would consider people's feelings and emotions before I would make any kind of drastic move like that. So it's just a lot of things that I look at now that I am not pleased with, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I just want to see what other people think. That's why I started looking at the videos, to see what other people think. And I started looking at the videos because I wanted to know, why do people become atheists? And it took me a long time to start looking at the videos because I was scared Jehovah was going to get mad at me. And one day I said, you know what? He's just going to have to get mad because I want to know, why do people stop believing in God? And so when I started looking on the videos and everything about, the atheists and what made them stop believing, the identical same thing that I figured it was, because of the condition of the world and all of the suffering. That's what most of them say. Pretty much all of them say that. And another thing, to my surprise, was a lot of them are preachers, or were going to Bible school to become preachers and, high ups in the church. And they tell you that the more they studied the Bible, that's the less they believed that it was a loving God. I can understand it. Because this is a real bad place we live in. You never know what's going to happen, who it's going to happen to, when it's going to happen. You just never know anything at all. Nothing. From 1 second to the next, you don't know. So anyway, that's about all I have to say for right now. Just looking at life out of my own eyes now, not out of the eyes of Watchtower, Witch Tower. That's just an awful shame. Just an awful shame to be in a religion that long, thinking it was the truth, only to find out it's a whole cult. The faithful and deceitful slave. Are you going to follow the faithful and deceitful slave? I'm not. Anyway, I'll check with y'all later.